Hi, I'm Brenda Power, Medicine Woman. Funny. YouTube beat me this time. Normally I have to push 2 minutes in. So now you gotta watch me go live here. Which, I don't remember what Spirit speaks. What are we gonna find out today? Oh, new to me too. Now we say go live. 3, 2, 1. Hi, I'm Brenda Power, Medicine Woman. And I didn't get to eat my dinner. Oh, time just flies on by. That's okay. No big deal. No big deal. We'll wait for people to come on. Hey, Lenny. Oh, energy is just shifting and shifting. I can feel it. I'm getting prepared for my, you can see behind there's my rocks. Here's my, my little feather broken. Anyways, so that, I fixed my feather. But anyways, I got my rocks and my things all lined up for the 8 and 8. I'm the Lionsgate, and I'm excited. I'm a little bit myself, I guess. I feel like my nose is running for some reason. I have seemed to catch it. My frazzled. I don't know. What an energy shifting day. Yeah. It's so funny. I lost time for at least an hour and a half. And it wasn't even being sucked in the Facebook portal. It was just sitting here. I could feel all of a sudden I'm like, oh, okay. So I asked Spirit, can I download anything? I didn't hear nothing. And the next thing you know, I'm zoned out. And then about 8:40, I'm like, what? I hadn't even taken my shower yet. Haven't even cooked supper yet. God, I hope the stove's off. No, I'm gonna assume it is. It's one of those fear things. Literally, it's fear things. Like fearful of blowing my nose in public, jumping away from the computer for a minute. It's weird energy. I don't think I've quite came back in my body. I mean, seriously, I don't think I came back yet. I don't even know what happened to lunchtime. I mean, I haven't even put makeup on. I know I made my nose red. That's okay. You know what? Love me the way I am. The way I look at it. Red nose and all. My nickname during wintertime in Michigan, because it was so cold, was Beaker. I mean, my kids laugh at me because my face just turns red and the rest of me stays white. And it has nothing to do with blushing. Good day to y'all, and that's awesome. Get my shit together. That's what that energy's about. Yes, I'm going to trust that stove's off. And you know what the funny thing is can you trust Spirit? Or do you let yourself overthink? And that's one of the things I think Spirit wants so much to get that across. Now look here's my colleague. My hair is cut completely straight, but you wouldn't know it in the picture. I feel half and half. But overthinking, see, my mind wanders. This is happening here and there. Oh, did I leave the stove on? I turned the one off. And the other ones I switched off. I'm going to trust that it's off. If not, it'll be one smelly mess, hopefully not out there. And maybe when Alan walks through the door, everything will be good. Yeah, it's just I would have to say about 6:30, everything just shifted from being right in on time and Spirit, boom, 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 everything's flowing. Then all of a sudden it was like, ooh. Like I said, I have no idea. I have no makeup on except for, you just saw me put lip gloss on. And the colors. Okay, I started out with a completely different color, and 2 seconds later, I've got this on. Looks all right. I'm okay. My hair's not combed. Well, I shouldn't tell you all this, but it's not a big deal. Frequency update. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wouldn't be surprised. It's just, how do you regather yourself? Well, this is where I'm just going to take and, turquoise is about communication. Yes. I'm just going to do a little bit of Wayne Cook postures to get my brain, my left half, my right half together. Very important. You breathe in, cross your ankles as well. There, that stomach meridian just started to relax. After we get a little bit of an energy shift, do note that on August 8th, at 11:11 a.m. South Australian time, but it doesn't matter where you are, okay? You can do it with me, or you can watch the show. And you have to pay 11:11 to participate, but the frequencies are being set up to be... it's not in linear time. Let's put it that way. Okay? And if you guys know the flower of life, you'll get it. So I'm just going to switch ankles. And some people don't quite get it. See, some people you just like this, cross, turn. This is such an amazing thing, because when your brain is really off, you have no clue. Except for, and your energy. If you are a fire and this is happening to you, then you can wipe other people out and wipe yourself out. But you don't even have to be fire. It doesn't matter what element. Just, I know wood goes under the table quick. They're just like, melt right away. Because fire consumes wood. And, there we go. Now the frequencies above my head, if anybody had seen them, they're switching over. Somebody had a vodka today. I could use them right now. Well, for the Brenda body, but Spirit would just say, hey, no, you can't get drunk. Oh, that reminds me. A couple of my friends, she was at her bachelorette party. Anyway, she got so drunk. And she was like, and I was sitting behind her, and all of a sudden her sloshiness was coming towards me. So I just put up my shield, and then she wasn't feeling well. And so then all of a sudden I just did my little, symbol on her. And all of a sudden it was like, I took the edge off. She's like, oh, that feels better. My nephew one time came over, high as a kite, drunk as a skunk, wanting advice from, and I'm like, oh my God, this is not the state to receive information or give it. And I was like, if you're going to come in my house with my two little kids, you're going to have to sober up. He goes, well, I don't want to come back. I said, well, I know you can't drive neither. So then I just zapped him by the door, brought him in, sat down. He goes, I paid really good money for that stuff. I says, well, you shouldn't have come to my house. Yeah. That was the longest I've ever had to hold it. Well, there's a shift. Okay. What's this do? It helps the two halves. I mean, there's many different ways to do the Wayne Cook. You can put your leg up on your leg and do it that way. You can see, in the brain is right now, I'm getting rehooked up. And most of the time people go around and they are just a bag of scrambled nerves, stressed out. Breathing helps deeply. And if you breathe in and then out, hold your breath. Do that a few times. You can reset your parasympathetic nerve to be turned on, which is rest and digest. And most people need that. So anyways, like I said, 8/8 is huge. Spirit has really have been showing me what's going to happen. So it's going to be an interesting, deep meditation. We're going to be changing 70 trillion cells, turn on the light in the body, transform the genetic and the familial lines, the paradigms, the huge paradigms, because with the 2 mass shootings that happened in the United States, it was very interesting because it was like, oh, you have to watch this. And I thought it was just to, to pray and to bring light back in the world and help the recovery time faster. And Spirit says, no, I want you to see this. And it was about the thing that I had said the other day, is that you're going to look at your identity and you're going to write it on a piece of paper. Now, write it on a small piece of paper, okay? Real small one. Get everything you possibly can on it. And then we're going to burn it. But you're also going to learn to receive. A lot of you have had issues. I don't think I feel spirit. I don't feel like I'm connected. And you're going to learn how to release and receive. So when you take yourself into the next stage, and the reason I say small is because people have asked me, well, what? I don't have a burning pan, and it's like, okay, so you don't have a burning bowl. I mean, I used to have a fancy one, but I don't. So you can makeshift it, okay? I mean, anything with a lid will work. I mean, literally, it'll work. And inside of it, like I even have, if I can reach it. Okay, there goes my necklace. Okay, ouch, it just pinched me. This lid don't even fit right, but it helps put out the fire. I have a teeny tiny thing with a rock that it sits on, and it sits inside the pan. You can get very creative. You don't have to have fancy stuff. Ugh. So, and then rocks. You don't have to spend a lot of money. These ones I found in the earth. I asked who wants to play in the portal. And these ones. On this cute little one. Just regular, beautiful rocks just popped up. And I said, okay. And they said, yes, they were the ones that wanted to be in the help make the portal. And guess what? I have my wand. Why do you need a wand? Well, wherever you're at, you are a matrix grid. And the part of the teleportation is this energy flow of getting in sync with that higher self, going into that next level. And when we get that frequency high enough, then we're going to take our wands, whether it's a finger, whether it's a stick. Oh, I left my sticks out there. My sticks, or just a play wand, or however it is. But we're going to connect it up through the portal that we're at, into that energy field, into the, what do I always call that, people? Not broadband, bandwidth. And, so you don't want a major fire in a small little place, but it's very good. Yes, a bobble wand will work. See, and the thing is the bobble wand is great if you wanted to just be a wand, or you can take and clear out some. I couldn't have sage around me, so I had to learn. So I developed this bobble wand, and so I've learned how to clear my spaces. You'll need a candle with over there is a candle holder, which will be a candle on it. You're going to get some cinnamon. And you'll learn all about what we're doing with this. And you just need a little bit so we can sprinkle just a little bit with the nature of perception. I feel like my shirt is completely crooked. I don't understand what's happening to my left side, right side. Yeah, that's all taking place. Now, if any of you are interested, I'm going to do it at my house, but also create a group class online for Reiki, Dragon Reiki. It is your normal Reiki. Normally you get this after you've had Usui Reiki, but Usui Reiki is hooked into it. So you can have this even if you've never had Reiki. It's only going to be Reiki 1 to first start off with, because you get all of the history, but you get all of the energy history to understand why you're going to be using the symbols in the energy field that you are. You get the tone of the space, and then the attunement. The attunement changes that frequency and gets you prepared to receive the frequency. And then when you receive it, then you end up taking and holding that in your field. Then it takes you to the next step. And it's going to be in December 7th and 8th at my house. The cost is $222.22. The one online, I don't know if anybody's interested, then we will do that. You're going to have almost the exact same experience, except for you're not having the closeness of the touch. But we can still make this work, because you still have to enter in. You get to have more hands-on. It helps you prepare to what you need to do. I will tell you what you need to do at your house. I will do it on my end. You do it on your end. And you will get an incredible experience as well. It's that getting involved. So just keep that in mind. Now that the energies have shifted, if I stood up, I'd probably be 2 inches shorter right now, because I just felt this dimensional shift occur. Some people have been waking up to these energy shifts to where they all of a sudden, nobody else can see this, but maybe they'll hear it and see it. But it's not enough to make them be so frightened, but there's a loving energy feeling that comes with it. And it's different. Like, I can tell when it's happening to me, because I'll grow and I'll shrink. And if I'm in a different zone, I will see strange things occur, especially with people, like a glitch in the matrix. And I will keep watching. It's not the same kind of glitch in the movie. Seeing different patterns repeat itself. What do you call it? The Mandela effect. Things are changing, and you can literally see how... like, there was one thing, they always call it the Berenstain Bears. There's something that was in the name of the book or whatever that was changed. I mean, that's one of your classics. But like Don Eden used to call her thing called separating heaven and earth, which was you separated the energy and then you reconnected. I cannot find that anywhere except for my book that I had written it years ago. And now it says connecting heaven and earth. I was like, okay. And these are the little things. And I noticed that because I had asked Spirit one time, Spirit says, oh, you wait, everything's going to shift. I go, well, how do you do it? And then the Spirit says something about the Bible. I'm like, what? That's forever written. Nah. And interesting enough, the energy shifts so that it'll like change 1 or 2 letters, words, things. And it's just like getting an EFT. You swear you know it a certain way and you start tapping. The language changes. Like one word in the sentence that you swore you knew, and you start paying attention and you learn to scale it. It was a 10 and now it's an 8 and it sounds different. And there's a lot of, all of a sudden, there's a lot of energy. So something that you knew, understand you will get a card. Everybody does get a free minute to 1 read, but I don't do it like other people. Spirit speaks first. If you want a paid reading, those comes first. Anybody who wants to pay $11 for 11 minutes, you can call in, or you can end up, we do it just like this, a 7-minute, or $7 for 6 minutes. They do it that way as well. But Spirit likes to have this platform to help you understand you can change who you are. And getting our energies together, getting things in sync. It's so important to understand. Spirit wants you to wake up. Why do you have issues? Can anybody tell me out there? Why do human beings have issues? And you can't just say that's just life. This is what's important to understand. You just can't be human anymore. Not in this day and age. You can't just be asleep anymore. You're waking up. You keep asking questions. And hopefully you won't need enough bitch slaps to all of a sudden realize, I need to shift my thinking. So when it comes to what I do, is I read what you probably already know, but you don't know how it's connected. What I read are all of how your energy loss is connected to things in the past, and you're just a program. And yeah, you need to learn lessons. Why do we need to learn lessons? Think about that just for a moment. Why is there lessons? Because the important part, what we refer to as lessons, is how we want to know what love is by what it isn't. And we have been conditioned over time to look and view life a certain way through our chakras. What the hell do chakras have to do with it? Because there are level of consciousness. And what are we? We're consciousness. And we're moving. And the healing is the kaleidoscope of perspectives. You need to get from unconscious to conscious, okay? And you need to get to uncompetent or incompetent to competent. And the only way you're going to get from kindergarten to graduate school is that you have things happen in your life. Things that help you grow. Now, you can do it in a good way. You can travel and start learning different about cultures and the way people think and believe, and that your way is not the only way. You can learn to have empathy, find how the shoe on the other foot feels. You can understand and download new energies of emotions. When you move a little bit closer to your true identity, which most of you have no clue even what it is. It took me many years to get it. That authentic self has nothing to do with ego whatsoever. And all of a sudden you hit that stage and it's so freaking freeing. You get to see through your spirit eyes. Okay, you're not just the observer and gets, oh my God, I'm stuck on looking at life and now I'm over identifying with matter. You get to move back in the position of being your spiritual self with a soul as a recorder to be able to access your unconscious mind anytime you want, connect up and speak to God anytime you want, and be inspired anytime you want, and be human. Whereas human, you're just ego, and you'll pray if you want to God. You don't even know if he answers. You don't want to touch that unconscious mind shit. No. And you just, I've got it all together. Nobody else does. But that's the thing. When you begin to take those emotions and read it as a roadmap. God, I got so pissed off today. Own the fact that you're angry. You could ask why. Now, ego can be very analytic and go in or ego can say, you know what? I'm using the expression of anger and I'm noticing that my energy is there. I mean, I was just angry as a 1, but I'm freaking angry. It's a 10. And now you get to see where you invested your energy. But if you are living in the effect side of the equation, which means what? Oh, I have to blame you because you pissed me off. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Your ego says, you did it. Your spirit says, hey, it's a mirror because you're right. You did it. And in this case, it's pointing to you because in your mind, there's only a mirror. It doesn't know who you're talking to. You all happen to be aspects of me in my world. The group consciousness, the matrix. And I get to see what level of that I'm at in my consciousness. What chakra level am I at? And then people are saying, oh, I'm in the first chakra. Let me help you here. you get 7 major ones. The 8th is your archetype of all the templates that you could be. And you go through the four we all go through, which is we're all a prostitute, learning from extreme. The saboteur, the child of many different ways, and the victim. And these archetypes, you're learning the shadow and you're learning the light. And people think they just want to be in the light. Do you understand? If you are going to stand on a fulcrum, okay, what they call a teeter-totter or a seesaw, and you're just standing on one side, you're going to be one extreme or the other. I mean, you haven't learned the other part. But you're getting the wisdom. So healing the emotions that are causing you to keep investing into your past, because you can have feelings, but the moment you start to own those emotions and they own you and you take up residency in those emotions, then you are living in those moments. You are a program. These program, the moment you wake up, you reorient yourself like, oh yeah, that's my husband. Oh yeah, that shit. God, that's what happened yesterday. You become your program. And if you run with it, you don't pay attention to your spiritual self or the next part of you, then you just have gone day after day after day after day and day after day. And you know, yeah, I done something good today, you know, and then you're like, oh, and wake up and that went quick. And yeah, intentionally living through your spirit is a whole nother world. You feel free because your wisdom is the one that's leading. Now, I know I'm just trying to follow the path and jump here and there, but I could spend hours teaching you, and each little part's very important. The spirit only gets to speak for a few minutes. You are not your emotions. You are not your job. You are not your kids. You are not your gender. You are not what you eat. You are spirit. And you're learning through expressions. You're learning through emotions. And you have these lessons so that you can wake up and see another piece of the kaleidoscope. And you're like, oh, I'll never do that. And then all of a sudden, one day you're put in the position where you're, shit, that's my only choice. And then you can go, oh, that's why my mother did it. Oh my God, that's why my friend did it. Oh, the thing I said I would never do. Ah, shit, I see it. Okay. Loving so deeply that you keep putting your hand back in the fire, and then you're wondering why hell is in your relationship. Because you did not put yourself in the equation. There's so many juicy tidbits. See, part of what's happening is I'm going to be teaching you how to become a spiritual human. Spirit wants you to come and be a phoenix, rise out of those ashes, and become a spiritual human. That's what an ash is. And when you begin to rise, it is only because you decided to dismantle and resolve out the emotion, which is your key, that keeps you locked in the past or keeps you locked and never waking up. But if you got this urge that you're like, there's more to life than this, then you have to get past that. The ego is like, I'm going to take offense. Because that's not what you are. That's an over-identification, and that all can be changed. So just a second. Alan? Alan? So just bear with me. Did I shut the stove off? My husband's home from work. Oh, good, because I was afraid to go and find out I didn't. Thank you. I believed in spirit. I didn't run to the end of my timeline. That's the other things you're going to learn. And what's nice is we're sharing this human experience together. And we can help each other walk each other home. And we can meet some beautiful souls along the way. But all of us start to recognize that we're spirit. And it's a wonderful feeling. And those that are asleep, It's not your job to wake them up, because you were asleep once too. That dark side is a part of you. Yes, it is. And here is the wonderful thing about it. It's not as dark as we think it is. We keep rejecting it. We keep reshooing it. We keep thinking it's evil. And it shapes us. And you can let it go. And you can learn to integrate. And you can learn how to be yin yang. Do you want to know what's funny as heck? I was watching TV this morning. And the one person goes, you ever fear that... Oh, yeah, that's who it was. You ever fear that, you're sitting in the bathroom and a spider is going to start crawling up your leg into your yin yang? And I laughed so hard because I've heard that growing up. But on a spiritual level, do you know what yin yang means? A yin yang. It is the balance of dark and light. And I thought I didn't realize that was said as a joke. It's just one of those epiphanies, and you just giggle. That's what it is. So which is really hard? And the thing is, what is really hard? Because when you begin to wake up, that's why it's important for me to start teaching the classes about how to become a spiritual human. Because 1, I felt alone. 2, I felt it was hard. And when you start to break out of ego, those that are around you don't get you are going to condemn you and try to take you back. And when you don't understand how to read how other people, through spirit, not through ego, because ego, again, will be very animalistic. And you're looking at spiritual evidence. You're looking at the clues of life. And if you can grab the gems from them, you're going to start to wake up and look at life differently. But the only way you can do that is you have to take the filters down, the emotional filters. So some of you knew if you hit love up above, you get a card, as long as we're friends. Some of you don't have the ability for me to send you a card, but if you do, I'll send it. If you share in groups, you'll get a card. So you can get 2 cards. And you are not doing me, the favor. You're doing spirit the favor. You're helping all of us wake up. You're learning to work together and to get a faster recovery time, to put more light onto the planet. And that is the best part. I've trusted spirit that this is what we're supposed to do. And here I am. Yes. Hello. Yes. Yes, Queen Mother, I will tell Alan hello. And the thing is one of the things that we have to help teach people to do is to stop and learn some tools. We don't have coping tools. We don't have resolving tools. We don't have... Growing up, I didn't know what to do when I was emotionally a wreck, and my thoughts kept going on and on and on and on and on because I couldn't make it stop. That's what I call insanity. And I had done things to myself. I ripped out the emotion. I stuffed it down. I used something to make it stop. And Spirit says that if you would learn that you are an electromagnetic being and how to use your innate wisdom to do this, you'd be so surprised. So you're going to learn that the frontal lobes, how you create reality, and that you can sit there and affect the electromagnetic energy in your body so that the dance and the meridians don't have to go nuts or stay in those patterns. You get to use tools to disrupt the strategy patterns that are unhealthy for you, to change patterns, to look at the habits and start to break them down. You get to learn how to take those emotions and you calm them down. And I'm not talking them over a matter of years. I'm talking a matter of minutes. You are the best healer. You just don't know it yet. And when you begin to learn how to do this, you're going to wonder where you've been all your life. Being a mother without any tools, I was so scared crapless as a mother. About my babies being sick, about my babies going through so much. And then I started to learn that energy heals and energy awakens and energy is what we are. And wow, what a difference we can make in our life. Okay. So I'm going to just double check. I don't think we had any readings tonight. Yesterday it was, oh, no, we do. Songbird crystal. And that's for 11 minutes. I didn't even hear that go off. Where's Miss Songbird? And so, those that are new, you get to see what I do. And this is a paid thing. Whereas the 1 minute things, you still get a lot of good stuff. Songbird, hello. You have to wait for this darn thing. Is it over here? All right. Now, I hear cards shuffling. Somebody's playing a game. I'm not sure what that is, unless that's not regular dealing cards, but actual cards. All right, Songbird, what would you like me to look into? Something that's happened in your life? Miss Songbird, yes, isn't it pretty? Would you like me to, give you a cold read? Let spirit tell you what's going on, because spirits from the other side just come over and say, okay, this is what we see. We only got a few minutes. We want you to work on this and to, heal patterns, change patterns. We even have healing tools if necessary. They still say it's up to you. If you don't want certain things, just let me know. Spirit is very discreet about all this, so you don't have to worry. Pendulums. I'll take this one. Oh, and you know what? If you watched yesterday's show, you'd see how I jumped out of my freaking skin and almost peed my pants. But I got a new timer. We're good. Or not new timer, a new alarm. So I'm going to begin, and then you let me know if there's anything else that I need to do. How will the Lionsgate affect me? Well, if you're not doing anything particular, the Lionsgate is going to help you let go, just like everybody else. It'll help you let go of certain identities. And he said, did you have one that you're basically biting down on? They're like, I don't want to let this one go. And if I ask Spirit, what is this about? And they go, you have a tendency to automatic response to start living the way other people want you to live. And you're such a sweet person. And hey, can I help you? Can I do this and that? But you're missing the boundary mark. And sometimes the emotions of other people will start to flow into your space. And then, that sounds and feels like you. And they're saying you haven't learned to put the boundary mark. And so I say, okay, what's going on? They said, you can feel it, but you really need to witness the lofty energy that people have. And these lofty energies are some people who just come in and they just got this energy that's a little bit bigger than yours, and they're not quite awake, and it's pretty much their way. The problem is, is that you feel the energy invading before they open their mouth. Now follow along with me. If this makes sense, let me know. They said that you're self-conscious, which means you're standing here and you can feel like you're exposed, feel like you feel self-conscious, and that's why you won't do certain things. And I want everybody liked me, because there was one person that scorned you, and it was very interesting on the tone of the voice. It's like it was very deep and forceful, that it projected itself into a state that allowed you to feel invaded. When you get people that have that signature, even before they open their mouth, they carry that signature, that energy field. Your body goes into an automatic response and you become 3 years old. The energy exchange between your entanglement cord and these particular signatures of people, they say that there's a part of you that goes into distrusting, and you'll go over and you will start to feel like low self-esteem and a little bit of a depression, just a little bit of this and that. Your body will go into some type of a little stress mode. Again, these are very, very subtle, but it starts to affect one of your organs. I would assume the lung, because they're saying something about the meridian energy becomes disrupted. But it's not the lung that has the issue. It's the spleen that has the issue because it's a little bit frightened. And so then the chemicals in the spleen gets disrupted and a little bit of stress goes on. And then the pericardium is that it's interesting because you want to suppress feeling like petrified. So what they said is that you learned how to overcome your shit. Your body hasn't. Your body knows you so much more than you know yourself, but you overcome. But now you got to communicate with the body because you and the body are one. And that's what's going to come up. Okay. And it's going to come up. And you're going to become ungrounded, which is stomach. You're going to move in. Oh, now all of a sudden, just the right side, just below my shoulder blade. It's like part of my third chakra just caved in. One of the little vortexes in my third chakra. So I don't have the will to do something. And how it hurts. Okay. And it's creating some disturbances down below. So what is that? Diminished. Oh, your vibrant character becomes a little bit diminished. And you're still trying to be upbeat, but the frequency of who you were you're still trying to just be you. And again, you're going back to being that little girl, that 3-year-old. So that is part of just going into reaction. This really bothers you. Wow, this really does bother you. Just give me a second. You're going to have a challenge, and you can learn it on a whisper, or you can learn it through the bee sting, or a bitch slap, or a flying bitch slap. But they say I don't really think you have to go that. You don't have to go to that stream, and it's going to take time because this is something that you're not aware of. So you can have many things happen to you over and over and over and over. And there's a part of you that says, I haven't gotten to that stage yet where I expected them to be there for me. I've learned that it's okay that they're not. And I'm still a sweet person. And I, have to learn and count on myself. Now, self-reliance is great to learn. But if you don't allow that energy to flow back, the give and receive, then you're going to have a bit of an issue. So if you're learning to understand how energy works, whether in karma style, is that if you're giving, then the karma is going to be off energetically. So if you're giving and somebody's trying to give to you and you're like, no, then you are going to incur more of the lesson to repeat. Okay. You're meant to create a strength of having a line. And this line is not to draw the line and say, go to hell. That is not it. It is, that you matter. And the emotion that causes you not to see that line is that you have self-imposed limitations that cause you not to develop that particular part. And a lot of it has to do with because more than half of the emotions that you pick up are not even yours. So this is where it becomes very confusing of where you're supposed to put the line and where do you end and they begin. granted. One thing I want you to learn is this. On my webpage, there's healing tools, resolving tools, okay? And you're going to look for the Celtic Weave. And the Celtic Weave is very simple. You know, there's process to it. But even if I do this in the store all the time, is that I put my elbows together and I go like this. But I can't do that in the store, so I do it in my head. I go, ah! And it fluffs out my aura, and it changes the energy frequency, okay? And just literally starts to push people off. Connecting heaven and earth. You're pushing up and pushing down and gathering the energy up, and you're doing a figure eight in this way. Now this is pushing the people off of you. You do this enough times, and then you put your finger in your forehead and then into your belly button and push and lift up. And you're going to stay there until it connects, and then you create this egg around you. So when the front part's down, you're vulnerable. When the back part's down, it is paranoid. And when those are down, and let's say I'm driving my car and those are down, and somebody in the back's pissed at me because I'm driving not the way they want me to, then that energy is getting aimed at me. And then all of a sudden I might get a backache, or I might just get agitated, or I might start to, and then if I learn to hold this up and someone shit starts to fly at me, it's just going to bounce off me. And it's going to go back to the owner that it was sent. Does this make sense? Now, you said, I'm aware I'm stuck. You begin to learn how to do those things. There's a little bit more that I would have you do is learning how to do what's called peanut butter. And this is what I teach in Reiki. Did I really make that decision on my own? Or, yeah, you start to develop you. And then when your energies are off again, you'll begin to, oh, shit, just a minute. Oh, that's right. Brenda said, do this, or separating heaven and earth. And you have to be very careful, because your brain will become scrambled. And when it does that, you do Wayne Cook, the Wayne Cook posture, and you'll gather your brain back up. And so you're going to start learning fine tuning of your physical self. Okay. The other part is, once you've done this, the main thing that you need to focus on is the emotion of overtime hopelessness, because you didn't have a reason or understanding of how to use resolving tools to move in that direction. That's where the stomach messes up. Okay, wait a minute. What? Yeah, yes. Okay. Okay, so they said that there's a fine line between hopelessness and repulsion, and that repulsion you have, it's a huge healing thing that normally I have to help people do, but there's a part of you that don't want certain people in your life, so you're trying to avoid. And I'm not sure quite if you're aware of it. But when those energies come into your space, they become very draining. And when it becomes draining, it's like an energy vampire. And instead of a vampire coming up and hugging and putting you back together by taking out the negative, they drain you of your energy to focus, to be with spirit. But they need it to survive. But that is where they can learn how to heal their stuff. But for you, it's not your job to give them your life force, to make them happy, or to make them feel better, or no. This is where you got to know what they are. Are they a gaslighter? Are they a narcissist? Are they an innocent victim? You can look and decide that if you feel like somebody is high maintenance, you don't have to do this. And this is where you're going to have to start drawing the line. Some people are just, majority for you, dear, is that you don't know where you end and they begin. And the energy vampires seem to be the worst for you, and the word helplessness. Now, I don't know if that's who you draw in the most. Kind of figure you do a little bit, but see, and then it goes right into expecting them to be there for me. Now, I'm going to just check. You expected them to be there for you? Yes, but that's a small scale. They expected you to be there for them. Yes. So do you get scolded if you're not there for them? Oh, like for instance, someone in my life, I was 8 months pregnant. I'm trying to make the bed, and they're like, I couldn't do it anymore. So it was a big California King water bed that was snug up against the wall, and I'm trying to change the sheets. And finally I said, I can't do it. That water bed was just so terrible on me. And so I stopped making the bed. And then all of a sudden, my ex says, don't you love me? And, yeah. But when they started to expect it and I didn't show up that way, there was something I'm done. They've done something wrong. And therefore I'm like, no, that has nothing to do with it. And then they was like, they didn't want to listen. I'm like, I can't help you if you are going to think this way. I know how I felt, and I'm not going to be, and I had to start drawing the line that this is how I was being controlled. And I started noticing it, and it was like, oh, are you serious? Oh my God. And I started to always mix it up, never expect them to expect certain things from me, because if they did, then they'd start controlling it. And then I was all of a sudden stuck in this jail of having to repeat. I felt like it was an assembly line. I'm like, that's not how love, that's how not, this was a huge ass growth for me. Okay. Watch your reactions, because those are usually you're reacting because you saw that growing up. Those are not even your reactions. You got to start finding your authentic self a little bit more and realize, where did I get that reaction from? Who do I see that from? Where did that from? Do I really want to react that way? And you'll start to pull out of that matrix of maybe traumas and dramas, and you're like, but I don't need that. And you start using healing tools, and you'll be amazed at how much farther you go. And you'll be much happier. You know what happened? Timer. Shit. You just got 26 minutes. Isn't that nice of me? Or spirit? What the hell, timer? And then it just stopped. How did the okay. Now it'll work. Doesn't matter. Apparently you needed it. Y'all needed it to some degree. Next person is Kylie Hartley. 6 minutes. 6 minutes. We're going to set this thing, and this time it better work. Come on now. 0. Okay, Kylie, what do you want to talk about? Nobody stopped me. Y'all must have been listening well. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, everybody was getting wrapped up into it. I can't find my other timer. Anyway, Kylie, what do you want to talk about, sweetheart? Did you burn something? Somebody have burnt popcorn, burnt pan, burnt. Ew. That's all right, so we're waiting. All right, so Kylie's next. And Kylie, whatever you want to talk about, bring it up. The person after that will be Bridals Unite. And you get ready to tell me, which is Lisa. You tell me what you wanted to talk about. But Kylie, I'm here. Spirit, please. Gotcha. Spirit, please. There's a whole bunch of women that are stepping up to the plate, and they're giving me a plate of cookies. Now, snickerdoodles, because I smell cinnamon, and I keep thinking it's like snickerdoodles. It's not something, but they go, what? What are you saying? Invading pictures. She has invading pictures. She thinks too much in pictures. Okay, and then what happens? She loves to discourage herself because this is her pattern. Okay, how is it her pattern? She keeps doing it until she feels indifferent, and then she's like, oh, it wasn't meant to be. And they said that this is something that you did because I don't know if you were at an awake or where you were, but there was something to do with something that you wanted, but you had to learn how to cope with being impatient and that you couldn't have it, and you learned how to do this. So is this like an aversion therapy? Yes. It's like when you want a chocolate chip cookie, and then you fed yourself the idea that it smells like shit and tastes like shit, and therefore you get put all the sensories down. You go, never. So they said that there's actually one particular part of your aversion therapy. The thing is that you're losing massive power. Physical? Yes. Oh, is it affecting everything? Something specific. What is it affecting? It's affecting your triple warmer. So it causes you to go into unworthiness, which is not healthy, because then it causes you to be stressed. And then the other part of you goes, oh, I don't understand why I didn't get the job. Or I don't understand. But and then the other part of you goes, oh yeah, I made that deal. Does this make sense to you? Lofty. Oh, so you lofty to your own self. Do you like to tell yourself off? Because you already know you're going to get disapproved of. And it's not true. You don't know whether that's true or not, but you have in your head, you do. Somebody's got to teach me how to be disciplined. Really? Did you read it in a book or something? I don't, well, for the old ladies, I don't know who, I want to say mother, daughter, line. It's like genetically, we're not supposed to be nice to ourselves. And if we, somewhat, I am a huge saboteur. Okay, yes, okay. Because you guys burning something back? Okay, are you good at burning food? Because I got to figure out what this means. The idea of the burnt. Again, did we say it's aversion? But there's more to the story. Okay, gotcha. The burning, it contributed to what? Of an injustice. Oh, is it a self-justification? No, injustice. So that you're able to compare it? Yeah, see, I'm no good in the first place. Okay, so you gotta really, so is this part of your culture? Kylie, just think about that just for a minute. Is that part of your family line that you gotta kind of be nasty? Nope. What are you guys talking about? All right. The other one says, have you done self-loathing? That's what they're trying to get. Do you sit there and do you self-loathe? Because they're saying that you keep burning yourself, you keep doing yourself, it's part of, she says, just pay attention to how the family treat themselves. And if you start looking at the dynamics, you'll start noticing that something's happened to the happy-go-lucky. Where did it go? Wow, they're really not giving me too much. I don't... Contempt for yourself. Tell her to look that up. All right, look it up then. Look up. It's very important you do open up and you look at certain definitions, because by doing so, you're going to create yourself to move in the direction of understanding deeper of these particular patterns. And you can use EFT to disrupt them and decide that you don't want them, even though I am holding contempt, even though I'm self-loathing. And the pictures, start doing eye accessing, looking at that picture and then just getting it on the scale from 0 to 10. Getting on a scale from 0 to 10, and then literally start to pull it out. Give yourself instruction and switch eyes and look at that and get the same pictures and pull it out, because they want those pictures out. It's called eye accessing. It's on my website. And to get there, you have to, it's not www because I didn't pay for it yet. So you go medicine woman, the number 4, the letter U, .weebly, WEBLY.com, and you'll see healing tools, and you'll see a whole list of healing tools that you can apply. Now I got to reset the timer. And the next person in line is, stupid thing. That's not the next person in line. The next person in line is Bridal's Unit, which is Lisa. Lisa, you're welcome. What did you want to talk about? I saw her right up here. Where'd she go? Where did I go? Anyway, she'll get on and tell me. Oh, she just says I sent donation. Okay, so like when you pay, get ready to let me know what it is that you want to talk about. It makes it much quicker. You can, if you were friends with me, you call in and then you have a live session. Those are really good too. Health and spirit, anything particular in health, because this can be, I can jump right in, but if you got something very specific, then we can zero in on why it's happening. So if we look at your health, for instance, if they said, if you look at how, they're pointing to the large intestine and you're very self-conscious of your gut. If that's true, let me know. Who is? They said in the past, when you were younger, that you were self-centered, which contributed to why you have certain issues in that second chakra area. Being self-centered is wanting more of the attention back on the self, to look at how, pay attention to me. Now, this here, like I said, it goes younger. Now, there's a 3-year-old self on this one, and they're saying that your broadcast when you were, all I heard was I wanted to say tantrum. No, stepping out of a line was the word, according to someone's point of view about how you were acting. Doesn't mean that you were doing it, but from their point of view, it was. And they were self-conscious of your behavior, which then would make them very egotistical about how you're behaving. And then they were compelled to have to correct you. What that did was hold it as your dogma, which means same shit, different day. So you're used to somebody correcting you, whether it's in word or it's in action, or, it could be work or whatever, but you're used to certain people kind of correcting you. And if you haven't, you should be starting to get annoyed by it, because it literally is the energy of limitation. Okay? There's an energy of limitation. What? I can't really be me. Do you even know who you are or what you want to be? Yes. So do you keep certain parts of yourself separated? According to them, you keep yourself separated from who you are and from other people. Now, all of a sudden, my back of my neck is beginning to get really tight. And it's the way that you kind of shut people off from talking, is that there's a restriction that occurs here. Now, it could possibly go to headaches, but there's just this tension that happens. Why are you going to shame and punishment? This is how you get controlled. Oh, they want you to become aware of, for instance, when people write their memes and they say, well, I only know 10, only maybe 1% of you is going to share this. And there's a strike in you. It's like, understand that is intentional. The words are intentional. Do the people that post them, and they're like, yeah, I know people aren't going to share. Or some people say, yeah, I know people aren't going to share because but listen to the words. You don't have to fall for it. Chain letters are notorious to energetically pull you into things that are not true. There's always this threat. And it's like, right now, I know in the world of the United States, there's this energy of impending doom. And the biggest thing I heard was, it's not my generation, or it can't happen to us. We can't say that anymore. And it's very interesting to watch how the energies are going further into this, letting this lofty energy start to lord over them. When I want you to understand, you don't have to be engulfed by this. Because the reason I'm sharing that is because your immune system is always listening. Everybody's is. But your immune system is starting to change itself, because the one thing I'm seeing is that there's a point right here, spleen 21. Okay. And it should be important that you tap them to get regulated, because there's a big disruption. I feel one side of you is working, one side of you is not. And if you need to get them in sync, you need to get the body flowing. Spleen 21, look it up. You'll see what it's doing. You need to take it one step further, because, and you follow the bone and then come to the tip. Instead of going into the hole, you just slip in this side, down and in. Your energies keep flipping backwards. You get more energy if you lay down. You get more energy if you walk backwards. And so you have some energies that are running backwards. Shiver and slow down. Oh, it's part of the correction. Oh, gotcha. Okay, so the K27s, and under here is the thymus. So if you went 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So if you were to tap these, and then here, that's called the 3 thumbs. Now, there's also another point that's right in the middle. And this, if you rub it, a lot of people, it's really sore because it's in an emotional point. It kind of like pulls in a lot of emotion. And you need to get that energy flowing just a little bit, because I feel like you get locked up and then the energies run backwards. Which ones? Does she have any frozen ones? No, very good. And someone on the other side is that this, what got stuck? This. Okay, stomach. The stomach got stuck. What did you do? Take energy in? That wasn't yours? Is it like a bullet? Yeah, it says disapproval. And it went in right where I was touching. So the energy went in. So the question is, do you have any pain in those areas? Because hopefully it's just in the aura and not in the physical, but it literally goes, shoots in. And it's kind of like creates this spider effect of energy kind of being tight. It's not your full-blown anxiety where it's tight. It's, yeah, and it could, well, it's not even about heartburn or that stuff either. There's, it's like a dull, I'm full, empty feeling. That's weird. But anyways, that's what I'm picking up. If any of this, communicate with me, that would be great. Who has disdain? Other people do. And then it goes that, okay, so this must start, you must collect, because disdain is energy in there. And then you become very self-conscious of your physical body. Ooh, how interesting is that? Because they say that you get very self-conscious of, and then my female parts I want to cover up. I'm looking back at when puberty began to hit and the hormones threw you off and you didn't quite you weren't quite ready for it to really. So do you have big boobs or do you have small boobs? Which way is it? Because somehow there's a lot of concentrated energy, not just where the stomach is, but somehow it goes across to my breast area. It's interesting because it's not like your normal thing. It's not, I don't want to say it's not normal. So you can't figure something out. That sets right here. I can't figure something out. You're really collecting a lot of stuff here. Repressed. What's emotionally repressed? Unworthy. No, resentment. Oh, you have to be a good girl. Is that true? Okay, first of all, are all these hers? Yes. Okay. Is there anybody that's shit in there? Yes. She needs to do Connecting Heaven and Earth and Celtic Weave and the hookup. Yes. But you also need to flip your meridians. Which ones do you really need to flip? Gallbladder and large intestine. Do you want them source points or draw? No. You need to correct the flow with the magnetics. Oh, goodness. Okay, you get yourself a refrigerator magnet. Apparently, you do this a lot. Get yourself a refrigerator magnet because you're going to use both sides. Now, I'm going to just check in and tune in, and I'm going to check you. Okay, that's good. That's very hard. Okay, do you want it there? Because it'll flip the switch. Gotcha. So you're going to take and right where your finger and your thumbs come down, and right there where the bones meet, that's the point. That's a source point for large intestine. You're going to do both hands. You're going to slowly do this. Okay? You're going to do both sides. The gallbladder one is... Okay, so here's the inside foot. There's your pinky. There's that bone. Now, just above that bone on the inside is a dent. If you were to feel around, you'd fall into a dent. That's the gallbladder. And you're going to, remember it's on the inside, and you're going to take and use the magnet on both of those sides. Now, your gallbladder causes you to overthink. Your large intestines causes dogmatic crap, so it's different, same day, or same shit, different day. But you got to keep living that dogma that's what expected of you. Yeah, and it should wake it up so that you don't have to be in arrested development. Because there's a party that just can't seem to get to that next stage. Take all those things that I have and told you and use healing tools. Tap them out. And if you're not sure where to find anything, you can always re-listen to all these shows. Ouch. Just look at your timestamp. Who's the next? And the next person is Bessie Demezquez. Bessie. And then 6 minutes. Set time. Go down to 6. And then we go okay. And then what did you want to talk about, my dear? Tell me, and that we can look at. Well, automatically I can hear people arguing in the background. And definitely I can hear it. You're welcome, Lisa. Well, leave me feedback, recommendations, any of that stuff. Let me know if I've done anything, or if the spirit, if I'm listening correctly. Bessie, where are you? And remember, be ready. So after 6 minutes, after Bessie is done, then Nicole Marie Simpson will be after that. So Bessie, this darn thing, that feedback or that over things just takes forever. Oh, Nicole Boyers, is that you, or what do you go by, Nicole or by somebody else, sweetheart? Which one are you, dear? because there's no note saying who you are. Oh, and that must be Nicole Simpson. That's who the Nicole Byers is. Yeah. Where's Bessie? Where'd you go? Oh, there you are. Spirit or future, please. Gotcha. All right, Spirit. Tell us what's going on. You haven't gotten over a particular shame that happened when you were little. They said there was like dishonored. And there's, okay, when we look up certain words, it's so important that you get what that means. Because bring shame or bring on disgrace on. Bring shame. So there was something that happened. They're saying that you have not healed. But, and it makes you, because this keeps going off, you keep feeling like you have to take action and do something. You have to take action and do something because it's not been resolved. And if I asked you a little bit further, does this affect the future? And they said, yes, constantly, because you go up and you go down. You go defensive and you don't even know you do it sometimes. That whole sentence. We expected them to be there for you, and they threw you under the bus. And there's a little bit of anger and hatred towards that particular thing. Do you even know what they're referring to? Wounded pride. And they said that sometimes you have to go in the corner and lick your wounds because it's about you can't quite let it go, and so you have to wallow just a little bit, but it's the pain, and you got to understand it's not who you are now. It is that program, and if you were to resolve that if you knew the nature of that moment, like, yes, I know that moment. It's on a scale from 0 to 10, and it's huge. I'd say, okay, go tap it out, make an appointment with me. We'll get it down to 0 and we'll pull it out of your body. And if that's the case, then your body and your brain, and then we can take those pictures out and we can take the pictures out so that you can stop reconstructing yourself to be the bad reconstruct. We can stop it. You don't need to be punished 1,000 times. Okay. And they're saying that, that you want to be into a leadership role. And you lost your voice. Something that you think you can do, but you don't know if you quite can do it. It's because of that incident that occurred. You're trying to think. Okay, so give me what age would this particular? Oh, see now that how would she? 4 years old. Okay, they said at 4 years old, there was something that you thought you were, again. Oh, point to it, what? Do you draw on the wrong kind of people that don't support you, but do you draw on the wrong kind of people? Because it says that you find that everything's good and that everything just seems to be incompatible. There's an incompatible energy that seems to follow. And they said when that begins to happen, then you get discouraged, and it just, that's all I can feel is like this sigh. And they said that you may have alexithymia, which is this inability to really describe your emotions or your feelings. It's like you can't really put the dot and connect onto it because there's a part of you that had disconnected from that moment. So you may not even be aware of that moment because you can't recognize it because there's that separation. Well, if this is what she needs to heal, Spirit, then we just say thank you, Spirit, for bringing her closer to whatever it is that needs to help her unfold so that she can grow. I mean, she's obviously here wanting to know what she can do. What about it? An auto response. Tell me more. Do you deprive yourself? Really? They said, yes, you deprive yourself. Because it's the right thing to do? Oh, well, it really affects your grounding and it really affects the digestion. And it actually disrupts you from hearing spirit. Someone close to you has been trying to communicate with you for a while. And you're holding on to a bashful energy that literally causes a block in the filter to be able to see. And what? So you have to bring in people, resonate with people in a trauma. So you resonate with people in a negative aspect to some degree. And they said that they're asking you to wake up from that and to move into the next stage, because if you stay in that energy field too much, it's going to draw and change your energies. And it causes you to seem like you're incompatible with certain foods. And when you really are not allergic to anything, it's just that your body goes, ugh. And so it kicks in the meridians. It kicks in the meridians to cause a disruption in the way you digest. Okay, thank you for honoring me. All right, so I'm curious about you, because I could see all those things, but then I could feel that you couldn't get connect, and then yet you could, and then I'm like, what? All right, so Nicole Marie Simpson, you're next, my dear. Nicole, what is it you would like to talk about? Velvet, if that's the case, you be next after. Oh, so Velvet goes by Vanessa Hung. Gotcha. So Nicole, who's next? Nicole, I know you were just here. Miss Byers. Okay, so I'm just going to go on, and then I'll look up, and if you want me to talk about anything else, you let me know. I feel like I wore braces, or I'm wearing braces, or some type of tooth guard, because the spirit is saying that you should remember me. I feel like somebody is somebody from your past that you knew. Are they on the other side? Yes. And they said that gray skies are going to clear up. Put a happy face or something like that. So somebody was cheerful for you. And when you go to look at your future, they said that there's accolades. Positive thinking, looking for accolades, giving yourself accolades. And they're saying that sometimes you get very defensive, because you can tell when certain people are doing false accolades to get you to do what they want, which is a manipulation. They said that when you get into the future, we'll go there, then relationships with the family. So that means that this happens within the family, but that's just going to repeat itself because that's there. They said when it comes to food, you like nutritional hunger. You have nutritional hunger. So you will get hungry for nutrition. So are you getting a well-balanced diet that has all of the vitamins and the minerals? Because they said there's a part of you that just, it's like when you're thirsty, you eat, right? Well, in this case, you want nutrition. You may grab the wrong thing. They're saying there's a part of you that needs to be tuned with that. But that part of you keeps doing it because you remember hearing a negative thing. So if they said that you could have heard somebody say, oh, she's too fat, she could have been talking about somebody else, but you heard it for yourself. However, you hear sounds, you remember the sounds, and so like when cats hear the tuna can open, they know to come running. Well, it's like when you hear a bag of potato chips, there's like, oh, I'm fat and there's something wrong with me. And it's like a cascade of domino effects. So this is the stuff that sits there repeating itself from the past, but it goes into you're saying the word disapproval because that's part of the story. So listen to some part of your story. It doesn't have to be a major event, but notice that it's part of your story. Who does? She does? Okay. Do you just hate when somebody does something? Don't you just hate that? They said that word sometimes gets casually used. Oh. And it gets casually used. And they said that the energy of the planet now are making it so that it responds faster, so that you'll find more things that you like. God, there they go again. What's wrong with people? Blah, blah, blah. You're going to get more and more of that frequency coming at you. Does this make sense? You get more and more people going to exert their power because that is what you see. I mean, you're also convinced because other people have told you that's how people treat other people. And so they're showing me this particular eye that you hold this in, and that picture needs to be changed because it's a filter that is because it has to do with dishonor. Where are we going? We're going to career. Okay, so the career. Tell me about something about this deck. All right, what do you want to know about the career? And we're getting a lift off. This is one I saw. You're right. Whatever it is that you're aiming for, don't stop. No matter if you get discouraged, to understand, don't stop. So there's something that you started to follow. Is she following it? Yes. So don't stop. No matter how much you get discouraged. I don't feel like you really get a lot of support in your corner on something that you wanted to do as far as a career goes. But they said that you're smarter than you know, and you did a lot of compromise. And they're saying that you've actually lost some parts of your energies because you compromised. The one thing you got to understand when you compromise is you lose that. I'm not saying don't compromise. I'm saying do the third option. Like me, my husband. I like the window open when the sun is shining. He likes the curtain in front of it so that it's not fully exposed. And I said, oh, what do we got to do? And Spirit says, well, neither one of you are going to compromise. Do third option. I says, all right. So I downloaded a third option, and then all I heard Spirit was saying, get a lace curtain. I put a lace curtain there, and we're both fine. So learning whatever, zero support, discouraged. Okay, so whatever it is, you don't have to compromise just to please them. Start asking Spirit, what can I do, which is the third option. If somebody is demanding that you compromise, then they don't really care about you. You're an object. And it's like you have to re-strengthen yourself to understand that it's about a lot of ego work that you need to do. And in this case, they're saying, stand up, be who you are, just start going after you want, start acting the way you want, because that's what they do. And you will get to the point where people are going to support you or not support you. And if they're not going to support you, understand that you're going to say, thank you, Spirit, and you're going to download new friends. You're going to down people that are going to support you. Why? If you ever had to do a report in school, and you're like, I know nothing about this history crap. I don't know where to look. Okay, so you go to the library. Well, library, you don't do that now. You go into Google. But the point is that, okay, you got like one piece that you can start looking at. You get to look it up, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, dead ends. And all of a sudden you're like, you get a brilliant idea. You go look over here. Boom, you got some more information. You get to know where to get to look. And then all of a sudden everything starts snowballing. So you got you didn't have nothing. Now you got lots. It's the same way in life. The universe begins to respond to what you're focusing on. So if you started to look for support, and then all of a sudden you get it from a friend. You're like, yes, this is support. Thank you. I'm gratitude that I have support by this. I'm gratitude. So you're learning to teach yourself that you received. You've already received. Yes. So thank you. I'll take more of this support. And then all of a sudden you're going to see it here and there. And then you're going to find out that it's not about not getting support. You're getting a lot of it. You just want it from some people. And just usually it's one person that you want support from, and it blocks you from ever seeing support from wherever you need it. And then you realize It's the one person. And what you need to do then is you have to heal. They're not meant to give this to you, but you're meant to face the emotion. And that motion will keep going and kicking off. So you'll be sitting there, you're happy, and all of a sudden your body says, oh, you're not thinking about your issue. Bam, sends up an emotion. And then all of a sudden you don't realize that the motion is going off, but energy in motion starts to show you your thoughts. And then your thoughts start to pick it up, and then your thoughts begin to look, and then you're like, and it's there. So use EFT. You can make an appointment with me. You dissolve that emotion down. Okay? So that feeling that I'm not getting that support from so-and-so. You stare at it, you look, and you know it's so true, and it's on a scale from 0 to 10, 10 being the worst. And you can EFT it out, and emotional freedom taking it out, or you can come to me and I'll help you pull it out. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, yeah, I don't really care. And usually when you have those deep-seated ones, there's many layers. And we just start to pull all those out. And the next thing you know, you're living for yourself instead of evolving around that person, hoping they'll give you something, because that's your son. And you're missing a whole life out here because you're trying to get the one thing you'll never get. And it's not because they can't give it as the person, but their soul said, in your agreement with your soul and their soul, both agreed in a soul contract, I'm not supposed to give it to you. And your lesson then is to learn not to invest that particular part of energy into it. You learn to resolve, to evolve that. Your lesson then is learned. You become unconditioned, and that energy cord changes. And guess what? They may actually show you support. Okay? And then you have to learn how to break the habit, because it's just an interesting habit to constantly just sit back and think, you know. If it is, and you're fine with that, then keep doing it. But if you begin to notice that it's taking a lot of your energy and it's repeating, you know, a lot of people like to waddle, just let me cry. But what you'll find out is that it's going to take up residency there, or it already has. But you need to disrupt that strategy, because I have to go here before I can be happy. Well, do you really? Is it true? And you'll begin to wake up and notice that you don't want certain behaviors, and you will change. Okay? Because this is all about your growth. You beamed your ass into this body, your body. You beamed it in. It's yours, all yours. Nobody else's. And your responsibility, because it needs to eat, it needs to poop, it needs to exercise, it needs to sleep. And it needs you to resolve its emotions, because damn it, it doesn't know how to. So it relies on you. So it's asking for you for your support. Okay, so you just don't need to be, you just notice the emotions and put them on a scale, and then you begin to heal. All right. Next person is Vanessa Hong. Vanessa. Yeah, that's right. And what did you want to talk about, Vanessa? Hello, dear. What did you want to talk about, Velvet? Okay. You know what? My husband just turned that fan off. Thank God. That was driving me nuts. I could hear this humming that was driving me nuts. That was just Brenda. Anyways. I'm going to hit play, and then I'll look up if you need to talk about something. You go into reconstruct mode. And to help you understand this is the right part of our vision. And the upper right part of our vision is how we reconstruct. Okay, it's when you're going through spirit, it is imagination, it's pretending, and it's play. But when you go through ego alone, then it goes in through hell and becomes overthinking. And then you got a worst case scenario. You got to run to the end of your timeline, and you got to predict how it's going to work, and you got to control the thing, and then you got to worry and fear, and then see how it just robs you of your life force. And they said that this reconstruction is that you have to become aware of when you do it. Now, when clients come to me, I actually start to pull them out of this, and so they can look in a different direction, so they can learn how to use all of themselves. Because when you're reconstructing, you'll go down to the left-hand side and do the self-talk about how to reconstruct it, and then you go into the right, into the this is how it's going to feel probably, and then I don't want to feel that way, so I'm going to have to go into how I think and feel and hear it, and then it's a hell of a lot of work. And you want a positive environment. And the majority of the time it feels good. But then when you can feel the environment change and you're looking around going, but it still is positive. It doesn't make any sense. I'm going to tell you, those are triggers. Your biggest one came when you were 4. It has to do with cold. Maybe a little damp. Was there food involved? There was food there, a smell. You're going to have to use all your senses. But there's something in your space that triggers it. And when it triggers you, you go into that reconstructive phase because you want to avoid. So what is exactly that you're looking to avoid? To be made to feel like shit. I don't want to feel like shit. I don't want to be made to feel like shit. I know what shit feels like. Okay, so I think we need to heal how you know what shit feels like. And wow, yeah, you're like, I just don't want to go there. Because, I mean, it just makes me quiver because it's like, right there. There, taking a breath in. And you're like, but I don't want to go there. So as soon as it starts to trigger, you don't realize it consciously, but you know something's going on. Maybe your body will start coughing and all of that. But you then all of a sudden you'll go into a self-talk of discourage. So does having to go out of the house have anything to do with it? No. There's a certain smell in the house as well. Observe as looking. Observe as looking. Do you do that? No. So you observe as in absorbing. Gotcha. You don't realize it, but you absorb. You absorb emotions, you absorb feelings, you absorb frequencies, and you absorb. And they said that you absorb because that's what you thought. Now you got to learn to observe. You're the observer. It's like, let's say you're watching a scary ass movie. You can be frightened, but you just absorbed it in. And then all of a sudden your nerves are like, oh my God, that really frightened me. Oh. Or you can learn not about detachment. It's not that. Okay. Is you can be watching, but you can learn to observe. And you're like, oh, and when you're in a different observing mode, yeah, it may still frighten you, but you're like, it's a different feeling. But it doesn't own you. Do you understand? It's out there. So you have to be careful because let me see, are you kinesthetic? No. Are you an empath? Yes. Okay. So thank goodness you're not a kinesthetic. So you are auditory. You're taking it through the ears. So as you listen through life, you get really stressed. That's why you go back up to the reconstructing. What did they just say? Oh my God, there's a story behind that. So it's a complete stress mode that you're going. And you're like, I train myself that if I feel awkward, something's wrong. Okay, that's false intuitive, which means the ego told you that's what it is. Ego's trying to survive, so it wants to not die, which means if you caught the real answer, then the ego can't control it. So we got to get you out of that space. But the problem is that you don't want to because that's another way to say that you're validating yourself. Again, if the ego is trying to control that part of you, then you can't. All right. So one of the things, like I tell people, you got to learn how to become a spiritual human. It's part of that authenticity. And if your emotions and and all of this are trying to run you and own you, that is not your true self. Your true identity is not those negative emotions. What? She refers to herself all the time. Somebody said on the other side that you refer to yourself as the victim. Because they said there's a part of you that's learning to define it. And the common factor is that, you're a victim. So you're learning to wake up just enough. But we want to move you from the effect side of the equation to the cause and the effect. Okay. And when you can start to take the victim, you start pushing that energy out and say, so you can train yourself to stop seeing it as that, but see it as, shit, I keep making this energy happen. I keep projecting this from my soul to happen because. So if we ask, okay, so why does her soul have to project out these things to make happen? And they said that expected what? You expect to be invalidated. So that whole stuff that happens is just from the fact is that you have to heal out. I know what it means to be invalidated. And when you start to chip away at that emotion and that knowing, the rest of it starts to fall away because it doesn't need to repeat the pattern. Okay? Who uses the sleight of hand on you? It's like, hey, look over here, and then steal from you. I heard sleight of hand. And is it a physical thing? Mental? It's an emotional thing. So it's emotional bait and switch. So do you have a gaslighter in your life and a narcissist? You don't have to take that and be that way. You don't have to be abused. You don't have to be in that situation. Somebody's doing something in your field of energy emotionally. And so do you have anybody that manipulates you? Because sleight of hand is that magician's way of pulling trick over your eyes. I think that's what that means. Isn't that right, people? They're saying that you're waking up and you're beginning to notice these little things. And it's not so that you ruin your relationship. It's so you don't lose power anymore. So you don't have to keep repeating the same hell each day and go, I don't understand why this relationship's not working or why this is happening this way. Okay, so if I look, she says, I think I astral travel a lot unconsciously. So let me, she says, well, in my dreams. Okay, so I'm going to look. Well, in your dreams, you're showing yourself that you can't be you. So there's a lot of things. I don't know if you just had a female in your dream, and if you were to define them with one word, it would be actually something negative. And remember, that's an arrogance. I think that aspect of yourself is that you don't want to be that. But your energy is put into that you don't want to be this. And again, as you begin to wake up, you're going to put yourself in a framework that you don't know what's going on. Oh, so it says, listen to your live earlier and I fell asleep and had a bad experience. Probably that's where the person did something to me. All right, so if I look at that, they're saying, and if I ask Spirit, why is that happening? Goes back to being invalidated again. I just want you to define that word, put it on the scale of how you know it, and I want you to tap it out. I want you to watch in your world to see where does that apply. And when it does, then you get that epiphany, but then you begin to tap it out. Use your skills, use the emotional freedom technique. If you can't do it, you make an appointment with me. You don't need to keep these patterns going. Does this make sense? You can change these particular patterns. You don't have to be a victim to certain patterns at all. Okay, I hope you understand that. I hope that made sense to you, okay? And we're going to breathe in and we're going to breathe out because okay, so anyways, just re-listen, look at the timestamp, re-listen to the show afterwards. Amy, you have paid for 7 minutes. Oops. Did you want to call or did you want me to do it like this? I probably should see if it's on, eh? I think it is on. Yes, it is. So, let's swipe it across. Now I'm just waiting for Amy to respond on what she wants. Said she'd call. And I do private meetings, private appointments, and you go to my fan page, you can see how much I charge and then the time that's available. And if you live in the United States, I work around that. Hello, dear.
Good morning.
Good morning. What would you like to talk about?
The kids.
The kids. You don't know what your role is right now. So that's interesting. Because a part of you wants to be more because you're very, very concerned about them. And they said that the major concern, why you're so concerned about them, is that your 1-year-old self can see the pain if, what do you see the pain of? Of panic, really. Distrust. Disdainfulness. So you're what's recognizing in you in these children is that you don't want them to be alone, just like you didn't. You don't want them to be ignored, their issues, just like yours wasn't. And some people, some don't see that in their kids if there's any issues, or they don't have tools to help them to cope. But you would like this. You wish that they would listen and get, but you are finding out that you're just a babysitter. And you're starting to recognize that your voice doesn't matter. It's starting to get to you because you're doing this because you get the joy, and you're doing it for free because you get this joy. But there's a part of you that wants to be taken serious because you're watching your heart break. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
And if I ask Spirit, it's because you needed to learn that when you were a kid, you were very discouraged. And so you're watching it happen over and over. So you watch it. So basically the main thing is about discouraged. You're coming up against your arrested development. You haven't been able to develop beyond. And if I asked Spirit, what kind of give me a clue? And they said, your habits about your life really invade. Your habits invade your everyday. You have to have certain habits that you're not even sure how to break out of. Because you're like, God, they're comfortable. Why in the world do I need to break them? But you can't grow.
Right.
You, in one hand, is saying, I want to grow. And the next part of your hand is that this is comfortable. And so they said, yeah, your left brain is running the show to some degree because it'll go into irrational thinking. But you're beginning to wake up because part of your spirit is saying, shit, I think I'm doing a pattern. You're becoming more observant with yourself, which is a good thing. And you're finding that you don't need to value that. You need to value your your epiphanies and your awareness, and you're like, because that's what's giving you your inner strength to be able to break those habits and to move in the ability to not be in arrested development. The karma, you're beginning to understand a little bit more about karma. They're saying, do understand that, it's about that energy exchange in your life. If you're always receiving and never giving, that's going to throw you off. If you're always giving and not receiving, so you're going to have to learn how to do both. But it's in every area. You have to give yourself credit for waking up, and you have to give yourself forgiveness because you didn't know the things you didn't know. And when you began to wake up to see them, the last thing you need to do is condemn yourself and not forgive yourself and go backwards. It is, shit, yeah, I did this. I got to know how I'm doing this so I can make it stop. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. They said that getting validation drives you, but you won't validate yourself. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay, so why are you afraid to validate yourself?
I don't know.
I think that you're afraid that if you validate yourself, somebody's going to come along and tell you that it's not true.
Probably.
Well, just look in your life. Has that ever happened?
Yeah.
So how you know anything is how you know everything. So if you've seen it, it's going to repeat it. So you need to look back and say, yeah, that may be a story, but it doesn't have to own me, and you can change that. So you just need to become a little bit more aware and say, no, I can say what I want to say. And then the people that are naysayers and say that shit, you got to remember, you drew them in to keep repeating the story. And when you hear it, you're like, oh, I'm doing it. Okay, I'm going to change my energy. I'm going to heal this. I'm going to change it. And instead of looking at them going, you just hurt my feelings, or you just, you don't, they are not, I hate to say this, but they're just aspects to show you your pattern. And some of these people don't really matter. It's not to say that you don't care about them. It's just that their opinions don't matter. Okay. You have to learn to consider the source, because as you begin to wake up, you're considering the source more, which is your authentic self. Okay. You can't, that's funny. Brokeback Mountain. You can't quit the kids. You can't sit there and say to the kids, I'm done. But you also have a lot of guilt that you can't move forward. You can't stop taking the kids in, because they're not going to get loved, and they're not going to be cared for, and they're not going to be the concern. You know what I'm saying? So you're getting yourself caught in a catch-22, but then you're expected that you have to be there and you have to follow all the rules because you're just the babysitter. But you're not, you're more than that. At least that's what you thought. And there's a part of you that's like, I'm ready for that next part of me. I'm ready for that next phase. So is that true? Are you ready to move to that next part of your life?
Yeah.
Okay. So I can see you keep getting more. I don't think you'll go to a bitch slap. You may feel it as one, but you're getting to be waking up more and more and go, yeah, no, I don't need to be in this position. Okay. And it's not just the kids. There's just other little things. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you very much for honoring me. We'll talk to you later. Okay. You have a good day.
All right.
All right. Bye.
You too.
All right. So, that is really good. And I see that I'm going to do the 1 minute read. So what you do is up there. It's, if you see it's hashtag MWB for me space. If you want to talk to a dead loved one, or you want to talk about something in your life, you want to just say general, because we're going to go through these really quick. You get 1 minute, boom, 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 boom. And I go right in an order I don't choose. So You only have to say it, type it once, and then I go right through. Okay. So anybody that's over here in YouTube land, same thing. You can just say me because, or hashtag, but if you can't, didn't put it up there. So you can just say reading, I can see that here. There's just a ton of people. And we'll see who's ready for a reading. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Dawn. Says she likes my hat. Okay, Angela Beecham. And where'd my timer go? Ah! Stop it. Don't know why that was done. So we're going down for 1 minute, and 1 minute is long enough. So here we go. Angela. There's some awkward feelings. And they're saying that you need to address those awkward feelings because you will go into a certain area and if there's awkwardness from people, you will actually start to feel like pain or uncomfortability. You don't realize, but it's not your awkwardness. It sets off a trigger in you, but for some reason, it's like you can tell when people are in awkward positions or awkward things, but it affects you. It literally begins to affect you. And it seems to be affecting also the intestinal area. And it kind of discourages you from wanting to eat certain foods, but it's not really in the intestinal area. So it's about the second chakra. Yeah, how do you relate to the people in around you? And the front part is that I don't really want to feel and connect anymore, and I feel kind of dull and achy. Where in the back, it's like my will in my second chakra is I'm just like, I'm done. Perfect timing, but I'm done. Amy on M. Okay. When it comes to, like I said, there seems to be energy. She must have had shots or something. Something's affecting the fluid that I see in the brain, the ear. But at the same time, I also see, just keep an eye on her if that's what you want to do, because she already knows that she's an it in the relationship, not yours. You know which one I'm referring to. But there's no word because there is a lot of love, but she also knows that there's a lot of action going around her right now. She's not sure what to think except for she gets distracted a lot. So she just gets very distracted, not by sound, but by people's emotions. Yeah, she's very astute. She's aware of that. That's interesting. Angela Harris. Okay. Her dad or his mom? What's up? Okay, so there is a presence in the space. I need to know because there's some interesting sounds, like there's a TV on in the background, and I don't understand that. But it's like he says that I've been with you, but you can't hear me because there's a static. Now you have something very specific you wanted to say about this. Now it's not just talking to the other side, because they'll tell you that even if you've never met them, they will have this great amount of love. And if there's a secret letter or something, or if there's a secret, then understand they're showing me that their lips are sealed, because it's not about spilling anything. It's about discovering. I don't even know what that means. Nicole Byers, psychic. Touch, smell, taste, see, hear, feel. a willingness, if your willingness to let yourself go, which means not to be so stiff, then you're going to be able to embrace this frequency that you feel around you. It's not, you'll get to the knowing, but there's you become more aware of energy shifts. And they said, in order for you to like, for instance, if you learn about planetary energy, the timing and things, and what each planet does, and what each planet represents, then you'll begin to feel when it starts to shift. To know the shifting of the energy, like the Lionsgate coming in, you'll be able to know when these emotions come riding in, you'll kind of know what subjects are going on. Yeah, so you do have it. You're reading the frequencies. Oh, shut up. You're reading the frequencies. Tammy Salwin. Conflict. What's going on? There's an exertion of self-importance going on, and who's I feel like you're supposed to take sides or something. And there's a party that's like, I kind of go into fear about how I'm supposed to react. I feel petrified because I'm not sure how to react. I just want to stay out of it. So I don't know if this is your life or if you're watching a TV show, because in a way it feels like it's constructed. And then again, it feels like it's a self-dialogue. So I can't seem to know the two between what's going on there. Oh, I don't know what that was. Something just scared me. It's like something will fall before you. And it'll affect your pride. So yeah, it's in your space and little things will occur. Where's that at? I don't know what happened there. Like that. Things like that will occur. It's weird. I don't even know what that word is. All right, Teresa Perkins. Miss Perkins. I got to check that word out real quick. Pain, redness, and swelling. Oh, really? Okay. You heard her. Timer. Yes. Your bladder meridian is running backward and it's also frozen, which means now the bladder meridian comes up and around and it goes to the back of the neck, and then it runs down the back in 4 lanes. Then it goes down the butt cheeks and down your leg and off the side of your baby toe. That is running backwards, exponentially fast, by the way, but it's also frozen, which doesn't make any sense because usually when it's frozen, it can't really run. But you're running from something. This seems to occur because it has to do with an arrested development. And if I asked what age this was, it's a particular at 1 year old. Started to really, you've seen one at age 7, and it wasn't until you got to 15 something occurred. And it's connected with something to do with that you have to run from, okay? What I want you to do is to take and get a magnet. You're going to unfreeze it. The side of the foot, where the baby toe is, on the side of the foot. And you're going to use the magnet, both sides. Okay, sweep it across. Both feet, do both sides, and then rub those points with your thumbs to get the energy flowing to come in the direction. And then you do the K27s to help flip it. And then, but you have to heal out those emotions that you're running from something. James. Okay. Feeling stuck. And then I'm going to ask Spirit, why is it necessary for that projection of feeling stuck? It's because where do you fit into the relationship? Because I feel like you, is that true? Okay, so did she holding, I heard the word lapdog. Is she holding the energy because she uses a lot of grief? Is this person in a lot of grief? But I feel like they're the one in charge. So are they using grief? No, they're just in this particular part of the grief. You just don't know where you fit because it feels like the story's about them. You have begun to woke up and see that, no, I don't want to do certain things anymore. But you don't want to be alone. And so you tell yourself that you have to stay in this. So you silently brood all day long. You have a tendency to understand that when men stress out and then they come home, they know how to unstress. Women, they work, they stress, they come home, they stay stressed because they got to do all the rest of the stuff. And the hard part is that because we never get unstressed. And then if a man begins to help, and then all of a sudden there's 20 chores, and and you do 10, and then you do it so well, it should give you 20 more things because it's just an endless list. So it gets very confusing about how to be in the relationship. But if you begin to learn teamwork on certain things, but you this relationship's kind of about, it's like you're not being heard, or she's not being heard about something. There's a grief about something. I don't know if it's always a grief. Why are we continuing? Stop it. That was odd. Nicole Byers. Did I just give you one besides pay? Yeah, you did. Psychic. No, you only did it once. Sam, hi. Okay. I'm just going to go to Sam McDonald. Sammy. You've been using your intuitive self. That's good. And you've been building that muscle up. That's good. Part of you doesn't know whether or not if it's real. Sometimes you do go into false self-assuredness. But do you know that take the hits and then keep working with spirit, and you're going to get more fine-tuned to what that is. Sometimes you're afraid to use your abilities because you're afraid that somebody's going to invalidate you, and it's going to cause you discouragement. But you got to understand, you'll never know how to do it if you don't know what the feeling is. So you take those as a good thing, and you're like, okay, well, let's see, we got to get back in line to what that feeling is. And then when you got it right, you're like, oh, how did I pay attention? Start taking snapshots of what you did, so that you can become more aligned and more fine-tuned. So, and don't give people, and don't use your intuition on certain people that are naysayers anyway, because you're just going to cause yourself grief. Stephanie Rivera. Where are we going? Others. What about others? Others' anger. Okay. Criticism. It's stored in the heart. Okay. What do you do with it? It creates creative insecurity. You seem to be filled with this and not even realize it. It's like you can feel people's anger and revenge, and it's their poison, but for some reason you feel like you're getting poisoned. It's like secondhand smoke. It's like secondhand anger. It's like somehow your immune system picks it up and then takes it on and thinks it's yours. And then you're like, what happened to my happy-go-lucky self? Okay, you need to do the Celtic Weave, the connecting heaven and earth, doing the hookup. And you need to get these energies out, and you need to become more aware of how to stabilize your energy so that you don't take these in. You can learn to observe and say thank you and no thank you. Oh, thank you very much. Andrea Evanchek. Vulnerability personality. You seem to attract people that are vulnerability personality. And so it's like you always got to be careful what you say, and you have to walk on eggshells, but yet you feel like you have to be responsible, and it just gets a little bit tiring. You don't really know what to do. So first of all, why are you attracting invulnerable personalities? And because I think somewhere in my life something's unfair. So at 2 years old, something's unfair. So somebody growing up got all the attention and you didn't. And so you're still playing out a pattern of when you were 2 years old. So it keeps playing out, keeps playing out. So in this case, I would say, see this and heal unfair. Heal the unfair, because it becomes an ups and down. You know, you got several different sides view depending on the time of day. And it just gets a little tiring, because then you're like, I'm compatible, I'm not compatible, I don't want to be compatible. I'll fuck off. That's what you feel like. So there's a lot of up and down energies. Josephine Rock. I totally rocked that. Okay. Self what? You morph. Morphing energy. It is, without realizing it, you'll be talking away and you'll morph into the energy that's at hand. And you're like, what just happened? Your mood can go, your physical body. Oh my gosh. So sometimes you'll be craving pizza and you're like, I don't even like pizza. You know, I mean, you're just like, you got to really become aware when you're morphing into other people's fields of what they want you to be. Because if they're holding that this is who you are and you're not being at that in the moment, and they think, oh, that's who Josephine is, and then all of a sudden you morph right into what they want. And so, like I see, I told you so. I mean, yeah, they can have their own opinions, but you don't need to become what they want you to be. Why do you do that? Because it's awkward. You're not sure what to do with it. Okay. Got that person. All right, somebody paid, but I'm going to take a couple more just real quick. Catherine Fisher. What? Something's felt so deep. It was a very bad experience that you had at 5. Something about falling and hurting yourself, and your body says, I'm holding that. I don't know if you twisted something, because it looks like something's twisted, but the energy is affecting the hip. It's like if you hit one area, the energy got lodged at the other end, but it didn't come out, it got stuck. And it says the uncomfortability. And over time, it just becomes overtime hopelessness. What I would tell you to do is that you need to get and find what your stomach meridian, the source point, stomach meridian, the source point of lung meridian, and the source point of liver meridian, and you rub those with a magnet, both sides, and you rub those with your fingers, and you'll start to correct that energy that's built up in that body. All right, so I gotta check. Somebody paid. Okay, so Nicole, since I've already read you, so just give me a few minutes to, and then I'll get right with you, all right? So Susan Bowles, you got this habit, munching on things. I don't know if it's nails, pencils, or whatever. You got a habit. So they're pointing out a habit, whether it's that or you know which one it is. And this habit, they're saying that the reason that you mainly do is because you go into cloudy thinking. And the clouding thinking, literally, you need to do Wayne Cook energy, because Wayne Cook posture will allow you to become unscrambled. But the cloudy thinking is your way of saying, I've got to deprive myself. And so, but it becomes such a habit that it literally is causing your muscles not to have strength, and it's not to move forward. And you're just like, ah. And so this habit is not actually healthy for you. So I would definitely go into healing deprived, so that you then can heal that I don't need to be cloudy thinking. Again, you know, this is how I help people. I mean, when people pay me, I help them get rid of this. But you can do it on your own. And overtime hopelessness, learn EFT, tap it out, do what you need to do. Patricia Kellner. Self what? Self can't. I can't. So there's like a self limitation. Yes, but I can't. The self can't. I can't do that. So are you even aware you got this language? Because they're saying that the language is very interesting, is because when you say I cannot, you're saying that you don't believe in yourself and that you haven't pushed yourself to be this, what you could really show yourself what you're made of. You've kind of reserved yourself as this is, I can't. And then it becomes your go-to excuse. And then I can't be happy. I can't do this. I can't do that. And they realizing, you don't realize the universe is responding to you, giving you the same answer over and over and over. And the problem is it causes you to get locked. And I think you're getting tired of it. You're literally getting tired of your own behavior. And you're like, I don't want to do that anymore. Okay. Nicole, ready, sweetheart? What is it? Oh, I got to see what you paid. It's okay, 6 minutes. Tell me what you would like to talk about. We can be more direct, and I can get in deeper. But you just tell me what you want to talk about, Nicole. I didn't see any more people over here. Nope. That's fine. Nicole, where are you, dear? No, you're welcome, Patricia. Okay, so Nicole, I asked you to wait. You must have went pee. So hopefully you guys understand. I do 2 shows a week, Mondays and Tuesdays. That's Australian time. So that's Sunday and Monday for others, I think. And in September, there you are, relationships. In September, for 2 weeks, I'm going to, I want to be computer free. So there's 2 weeks that I have not going to do anything. So my soul can rejuvenate and I can go hiking and all of this. Oh, okay. So you've got relationships. Then you're like my son's future work-wise. Do you want him to work, or does he already have a career? Because they're saying, let's get specific, because, when people say something about the future, it's I can tell you that some things about it, but if you have something that's directed, because, you see, this is why I wish people could call, because we could really get into it. All right. When you come to the sun, and your son is about his future of work, there's something that disapproval of you, him. So he's not ready about something, but he knows he's going to run into people's disapproval. Does this make any sense? Because the disapproval of energy is really going to push him into screwing up a lot. It's built into him at this point. It may push him harder, or he may become more demoralized. He hasn't found the value for him. He doesn't find the value for that energy. He can be a hard worker if he wanted to, but he has this disapproval. I mean, this literally is stuck. Somehow it affects like right around the ear and the back of the neck. He feels very deficient, like he doesn't have enough, oh, that's sad, enough brain cells to do something. Wow. Okay, does he need more self-reliance? Yeah, but as soon as you give it to him, he's going to fall apart. He doesn't have that strength. He doesn't know what he's made of. Oh, because it goes back to disapproval. How interesting is that? Okay, he focuses more on his weakness because he feels like a disappointment and goes back. So why does he focus on that? Because he becomes very self-conscious. But if he's going to screw up, he may as well screw up anyway. I mean, it's just that self-conscious. Yeah, he's very self-conscious. Oh my gosh. It makes him deprived because he's self-conscious. He deprives himself of certain energies. I don't know why. I don't know why, but I feel like I'm just about ready to get hit. That's why I can't look that way. So does he got something stuck in his pictures? He reconstructs it. Oh, okay. So he reconstructs something from the past. He reconstructs that this is what's going to happen to me. So even if it didn't happen, he's thinking this could happen. It's like he watches a TV show. He goes, yeah, I could see that happening to me. And he thinks, and anxiety, yes, it's there. But you know what? I don't feel that tightness here or in the stomach where I usually find anxiety. In his, it's right here. His anxiety is right there, which affects the way you create your future is through your frontal lobe. But it's right here. So he does a lot of rejecting of himself. And he feels like there's a lot of injustice. Oh, now my fist. I just want to go around like this. Yeah, because he doesn't know what to do with this. All right, first of all, he's got to stop thinking that way. But how do you get somebody that doesn't really know how to stop doing it? Or if you want them to, and he's not going to listen. So then that causes you to worry. And okay. Give us hope. What is their spirit? Well, the thing is that he's got an arrested development. His left brain keeps telling him that there's a lot to be fearful of and that something bad could happen. So does he play an impending doom? Yes. In the worst case scenario, yes. Will he still go out and do things when pushed? So he has to have forced energy in order to make him move, but it makes him very angry and more anxiety. So he's got to figure out how to overcome his anxiety. So that's why he uses the word force, because otherwise he wouldn't do it. Fine. That's what I keep hearing. Fine. Anguish. He carries a lot of anguish down in his gut, so he might like to eat. It feels like the candida overflow could possibly. So if he's starting to hold weight or he wants to have more sugar. So there's an influx in the hormones. He, for some reason in his mind, and I think it's all the hormones in this case, he goes and sees himself as, it's a strategy of it being unworthy. He's doing that reconstructed thing again. Does he give you the unworthy story? I'm not worthy. And then how do you respond to that? Because that's something that, he's in his own little world and he's going to protect himself from what I can see. But he's just like, he does the unworthy. I'm not worthy. Like an Eeyore type thing to some degree, but not quite. Because he can get things out of it. If that makes sense. Sam! McDonald. $11. Okay, so 11 minutes for Sammy. Hey, Sam, did you know I gave you a 1 minute read? I don't remember when. But what would you like, dear? You got to tell me. Do you want to call? Do you want to just do it like this? Oops. Yeah, there we go. So what would you think, Sam? Sam McDonald. I don't know why I want to do that with you. But I do. I haven't seen you in a while. You've been busy. Yeah. Okay, Sam. Are you there? You got an I'm going to push play. So you have an auto response that's going on. So you've been getting up and doing auto response. So there must be a lot of birthdays or a lot of stuff going on, and you just keep getting up and doing the same thing, getting up and do the same thing. Your father's here right now, and he says that you've been playing a story in your mind. And that story has been actually running out of steam. Because it's running out of steam, it's you're starting to wake up to the fact that I don't want to do this anymore. It's not that I don't want to do this more and die. It's just that I don't want to do something anymore. There's something that you really don't know what you want to do. And he says, you hang on to my hand like you were a little girl. He says the pain, the self-talk will not go away if you keep, like for instance, when you look to the lower left, you have this dialogue and the story in that dialogue. And he says, and your ego thinks if it keeps thinking about it, it'll hang on. He says, and that's not true. He says that actually that ego is bullying you into not being happy. So you must have got your feelings hurt the other day because he says you were doing silent brooding. You were silently brooding about it. I don't know if somebody told you to get over it or if they were not being sympathetic or listening. They just don't get it. And so we're going to ask Spirit, so why is it that you're there? Why are you in that space? And they're saying that self-conscious, hatred. So do you think of your loved one so often so you won't think those things about yourself? That's what saves me from going into depression. But then you're kind of depressed. No, low self-esteem. Can't get those two confused, even though they feel like. So did somebody hurt your feelings, Sam? Well, he can't get closer to you because somehow those feelings that you've got going on are literally closing the channel. Good point. Yeah, it closes the channel. So what particularly should she dress? She doesn't use her tools. Well, I can't do anything about that. So you know how everything nice and stable gets muddled? He says, that's it. It's right when you get muddled and it becomes unstable. That is what he says, just take your finger, Sam. Copy Daddy. Even though I get muddled, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. So we're doing a tutorial on me. I'm sorry, that's cute though. He's saying, copy Daddy. He says, but you're keeping that feeling that you're muddled because it goes into that shock. Why are you giving me twizzle sticks? They look like twizzle sticks, but they're not. You know, they look like a cookie with chocolate in them. I don't know what they're called. It's trying to say, have it. Well, I don't know what those are. Have a snack. Yeah, that might be it. Time to cheer you up. Time to cheer you up. Oh, now I've got candy canes. He just tickled me and says, you feel separated. He says, but you got to get back to that. He says, you remember when you did receive that? He says, go into gratitude. Gratitude means I received. You know? Oh, I'm grateful that happened. Grateful is I've received. So when you can get into how grateful you were, and then you tell the universe, I'm grateful for that. I had a daddy. I was grateful. I'm grateful I have a daddy because you still have me. And you begin to build that up. And you can even say thank you, as in thank you therapy. Thank you for letting me communicate with my dad today. And then you go looking for clues. And then when your ego's busy, you're going to start getting more clues. Does this make sense? Because he says, you don't, I'm right here. Now, what is this? He's shown me a book. Well, it looks like a manuscript, or it's a book. Are you writing or are you reading? What do you want? So it's definitely the past because it says once upon a time on it. So are you saying that she keeps going over this, it's a manual for her living, for her life? Oh. So you adhere to some of these truths that aren't really true, my dear. Okay, because there's a lot of, okay, so what do you want her to do besides the gratitude? Find out what's important. Okay, so he says, is it important to hold on to the pain? Is it important? And it's like, what do you value? What's important? I don't think that's true. But you're showing me this because he says you have some type of energy that you could pick up a bottle and start drinking if you wanted. But then it's like, no. You could then go over there and start eating a whole pie and stuff in your face. But then it's no. Were you accused of something? I can't see anything more now. Why are you... Turn my around so I can see it. No, you're not going to let me. I don't know what that is. But there's something there. Does it not? No, this is her. Okay. It's her strategies of how to survive. Oh, okay. So does a safety blanket? Not quite. It's strategy to survive. So your brain. Oh, I got it. Yeah. If your brain and your emotions and things like this do not find a way to relax, to find, make things stable again, to make security happen again, then you're going to start developing that particular attitude or particular way of living. Why? Because your brain wants to be stable. Your brain wants security. Your brain wants these. So this is why people become addicts. They can't make the insanity stop, which means, oh my God, why does it keep going around in circles? Does it make me nauseous? You can't make it stop. Okay, so that's insanity. You just want it to stop. Okay, and when you can't make it stop, this is why some people smoke, because it's that first hit. It makes the brain feel like it resolved it. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, and then you have another hit. And then you have another hit. Drug addicts, it's like they'll take something and then all of a sudden it's just for a split second because like it's everything just, the world's put back together. Everything's awesome. It doesn't matter what it looks like. That noise stops. Okay. So what's happening is that you can't make that stop. Sam, you may want to just make an appointment with me and just allow yourself to say, okay, I'll do what Brenda says and I'll hold these points and I'll put my hand here, and I will begin to allow the innate healing to work. Okay. Because your brain is trying to get you, and it will. Trust me, this is why people become addicts. It's not really the substance as much as how the brain says, oh my God, we got silence. Let's do it again. And it's the pattern now. It's the program. And that's why you want to use innate healing so that you don't have to turn to outside substances such as food or drugs or alcohol or sex or swearing or TV or giving up on life and being muddled. And your brain just like it needs sleep, it needs to be quiet. It needs that moment of security. It needs that moment of great big hug, love, and relaxation. Okay, that's what it will begin to start craving. And it's important that you move in that direction. He says, honey, he says, I would give Brenda all the money I had. I want you to have relief. Where are you going? He says he doesn't want you being taken for granted by anybody out here. He's very concerned. I don't know if you're listening to somebody that you got to consider the source is what he wants you to get. So don't listen to certain people because they you just wouldn't ask somebody that's poor how to make $1 million and then follow their code. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay. You guys are all wonderful. It's 11:37 and I missed eating my dinner. It's sitting over there. I ran out of time. I'm going to go and eat. Not all of it. Well, it's all mainly angel cards. I'm good. And I will be here on, if you're going to do the 8-8, understand that that's coming up and you can pay and get into a group. You got to gather a few things up so that you can do it with me, or you just get yourself prepared to watch the video later. You can do it as many times as you want. So if you didn't get all of your information that you wanted to burn up, you can rewatch the video and do it again. You can download information because you paid for it. You're in the group. Okay. You're welcome, Sam. And all of you are wonderful and great. I'm going to go and spend some time with my husband before the next day begins. All right. What do I always say? Stay blessed. Yes, definitely over there. Stay blessed.